Was wird daraus, wenn der Bruno mal tot geht? Wo landen diese Sachen? Wo landen diese Instrumente? Was wird daraus?
Welcome everybody to the Intro to Forensics workshop. Thank everybody who's come out in person and anybody who's watching online. We'll get everybody, if you have not already done so, to fill out the attendance. It helps us to just kind of track what's going on. Helps us with sponsorships for the club, and in the spring when we do our general election, it's used to make sure that you are a voting member of the club. So please make sure you do that. We're going to use Stag Hide and Bin Walk today. So if you don't have those installed already on your machine, there are the commands to get those installed. And if at any point you guys have questions, just let me know. And if you're online, just throw it in the chat and somebody will respond to you there. Come on, computer. Okay. There we go. Intro to forensics. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about image steganography, file signatures and using the binwalk command, audio file spectrograms, some other basic forensics tools, and mounting file systems. So what is forensics in terms of a CTF? So it's kind of a catch-all category. Quite often you're given a static file that you download and the flag is hidden somewhere in that file. And you'll use various tools and ways to get a hold of that flag. Sometimes it is just other kind of random file system stuff. Sometimes you got to be kind of clever. It can be hidden anywhere. Lots of places that you can find a flag. It's actually a fun category. I quite enjoy it myself. So yeah, the first thing that we're going to touch on today is image steganography. So what is image steganography? What we can do is we can actually conceal or hide information inside of other files. So for example, we could hide a text in an image. We can hide an image inside an audio file. And what we get out at the end is it's not going to look like it's been modified. Like you won't be able to tell just by looking at it that something has been done. So this is kind of an example of what it would look like. We've got an image. We append to it our super secret file. And it's inside the image, but you can't tell just by looking at it. One of the ways that this is done is with least significant bit steganography. And so what the least significant bit is it's the rightmost bit in a binary. And if you change it, it's not going to have a significant impact on the file itself. So for example, like if we thought about it in terms of like regular numbers, if we had like 1 million and we added a 1 to it in the ones digit place, it doesn't really have a strong effect on the overall value of that number. And so that's what we're exploiting here with least significant bit steganography, because we're just changing that one's position. And so we take, like, for example, we can see here, it's got the original sound cover file. We take the message in red and we just slap it onto the end, and it's not going to make a perceptible change to what's included there. So the first tool that we're going to explore is steghide. So steghide is a tool, one of the ones that allows us to both embed and extract hidden data from images or other files. Sometimes there's a password that's used. So you'll just have to kind of work, if you're like doing a CTF challenge and you get something that requires something like steghide, you kind of just have to figure out if they maybe want a password or not. In today's challenge, none of our steghide files are going to require a password. So when it asks for the password, just hit enter and it will go through and that will be fine. But you might see challenges out there that there is a password that you need to get from somewhere. And in order to extract the file, you'll need to put that password in when you run the command. So the main command here, as we can see on the slides, is steghide extract -sf for source file, and then the name of the file that you're extracting from. And of course, you can always look at the manuals if you need more information about how the program works. So in today's workshop, steghide is going to work on everything. But there is another program out there. It comes with Kali, I believe. If not, you can have it installed. It's called StegaSuite. It's a GUI-based program. And sometimes if it's been embedded using one or the other, it may or may not work with the other one. So for example, steghide does not support PNG files, but StegaSuite does. So you might run into that type of situation where if you try one and it doesn't work, give the other one a shot and see if that works. So with that, we've come to our first challenge of the night. So at this link, you can download a file, birds.jpg. There are 2 hidden flags in here using steghide. So go ahead and download that and give it a shot. And if you have any questions or need help, just raise your hand. All right. We'll, sorry to cut you short. We'll go over the solution here. So we've got our image, if my computer is going to work. So we're gonna download the file. So we have our birds.jpg. So the first thing that we're going to, sorry, I'm gonna see if I can hide that. Is that better? So the first step is we're going to use steghide. On our birds. Again, like I mentioned, there's not going to be any passwords in today's workshop. So we run it, and it has given us now this file, words.txt. So we can run strings on it and just see what comes out. There's a bunch of stuff that kind of looks like a flag. And we can use grep to help us find that. So if we run grep ucsec on what am I doing? Oh no, I did not autocomplete. And we get our first flag. Then the other flag, the hint that we gave was to actually look at the image. And so if we look at the image, we can see that the birds are in two different states. And you can kind of see here in the image, there is a bracket. So that should give you the hint that, hey, there's a flag hidden in this image. And if you look at the birds, you can see there's like pattern UC sec, and then a curly brace, and then the rest. So that's where it's hidden. A logical place to start would be to think of binary, because binary is represented in two states, but this is actually representing Morse code. So you can find an online Morse code translator, plug it all in, and get your flag.
I think I got the right flag, but I don't get any points.
Do somebody want to give him a hand? Did you put the underscore in it?
Underscore? I don't know that.
I think it's an underscore. All right. So, second part tonight, we're going to be talking about file signatures and spectrograms. So, when you open up a file, it can be called anything. And what it's called, or the extension that it says in the name, isn't necessarily what it actually is. And so a file signature is a way we can actually kind of tell what the file is. And so it's like a piece of metadata that tells you what the flag is, or sorry, not the flag, what the file type is. And like I said, just because it says it's a .jpg or .png doesn't mean that it necessarily is that. And these things, sometimes they're called magic bytes, and it will tell you what they are. So if we come back here to our files, we got our birds.jpg, and if we run xxd on it, we can pump out the magic bytes. And so we can see at the top here, like it spit out all this hex code. And up here, you can see that it's saying it's a JFIF, which is the magic byte code for JPEG. So anytime, and you can run file on that too. So you can run the file command on it. It'll tell you what it is, but you can look at the magic byte and it will show you. There are online resources you can use to see what the different magic bytes and codes look like. there is, it's garykessler.net. Let me see if I can throw this in the chat at least. So if you just like Google like Magic Bytes Gary Kessler, it'll probably come up. And it just like has a list of all the different Magic Bytes that your file might be and what the signatures look like. Sometimes what we can do is have multiple files that have been smushed together. And we can use the file signatures to help us determine when one file begins and the other one ends. And that program that we use is called binwalk. So for example, so I've got this magpie picture here. And so if I say, let's cat out birds, and I want to append it to the end of magpie. Actually, before I do that, so if we run file on magpie, we can see that it's a PNG image. And so we can smush birds onto the end of it. We can see in the file system that like, it doesn't look any different. If I run file on it, it still says it's just a PNG file. But if I use the program binwalk, then it will go through and it knows that there's a PNG in here and there also is a JPEG in there. So it scans through the entire file, walks through the whole thing, and finds all of the file signatures and spits that out to us. So you can see that first command was binwalk and then the file name. That gives you all of that. If you add the E flag, you can extract the file and pull it out of there. Another thing that we might see is an audio spectrogram. So what an audio spectrogram is a visual representation of the frequencies in an audio file. And so you can see how this image on the left, that's more likely what they're going to look like. But you can be tricky and hide data into the audio, and you might look at the spectrogram and it'll look like it does on the right. You can play around with this. Here's a link in the slides where you can just kind of mess around and see a representation of the audiogram of your audio if you're speaking on your computer. One really strong hint that something might be hidden in the audio is if it just sounds like super garbled and messed up. That's like a pretty good hint that somebody's hidden something in the audio like that. So yeah, that brings us to our second challenge of the night. There's only one flag hidden in this challenge. Here's a link included at the bottom of the slides for an online spectrum analyzer that you can use. If you have like Audacity or something like that installed onto your Kali or your computer, you can use that as well. And let's see if you can find the flag on this one. There's only one. Oh, and one hint for while you're doing this, if you're using binwalk on a file that has something that's password protected in it, binwalk might hang. So if you run the binwalk command and it's not completing, like it's just hanging, just Control-C out of that, and it should still have worked. It's trying to extract the password protected thing and it can't. But if you cancel out, it will still let you access the file that it extracted. Just to make sure people are on kind of the right path. So we've downloaded sun.mp3. And if we run binwalk on it, we can see that there's something else going on in there. And if we try and extract it, we do get something out. Okay, we'll give it maybe another minute, and then we'll run over the solution. Okay, let's run through it. So yeah, we did the first step where we extracted this file. So we ran binwalk on and we get this underscore sun.mp3. So if we go in here, we now have a zip file and combine.wav. So unfortunately, for the online people, I don't think I have the audio running. But if we go and try and play the song, oh, we're going to have echoes problem. Hold on. That's not going to work. So that's what it sounds like when you try and play combine.wav. So obviously there's something hidden in there that we need to figure out. And so what you can do is we can use like an online spectrogram analyzer to see what's going on in there. Or if you have Audacity like installed, it is it's pretty nice. So if we come in here and we can open up the file, and then you can change what you're looking at to the spectrogram, and we get this message, the long and winding road. But this isn't in the format of the flag. So we haven't got there yet. But we've found something obviously important that we're going to need at some point. So what else can we do? Well, let's see if anything else is hidden in this combined .wav file. So it looks like something's in there. So let's try and extract it. And this is the error that I had mentioned earlier. So there's something in here. Binwalk is just hanging. So let's just interrupt that process. Control C out of that. But if we take a look, we can see that it actually did extract something for us. So if we go in there, and we can see that we have what did I do? Yeah, okay. I knew this was a solid possibility that I'd forget how to solve my own challenges. Okay, so we need to unzip this file. I'm going to come in here and do it because I'm lazy. So if we come in here and extract the file, it wants a password. So we can try the password that we got, the long and winding road, and we get the flag. So yeah, don't forget, you can DM those to Orchid to get your fake internet points. Very important for the leaderboards. And we're on to the next part of tonight's workshop. So mounting file systems is something that is important just in general if you're working in Linux. It does get used in CTFs, but it's just like it's a good skill to have if you're messing around with Linux file systems, anything like that. So in the context of a CTF, we might receive something like an image of a disk file or file systems. Quite often you can tell that that's what they are because they're a .img file or a .iso file. Before you can actually look at them and see what's on it, you need to be able to mount it to be able to read its contents. So like mounting it would maybe be analogous to having like a USB drive and plugging it into your computer. Or if you are old like me and used to have CD-ROMs on your computers, that's the same sort of thing. It's like taking a disk and throwing it in your computer will mount it. It's the same idea with an image file that we might receive. So how do we mount an image? So the easiest way to do it is to make a new directory. And I don't know why I left the sudo command in there. You definitely do not need to use sudo to make a directory. Just make yourself a directory, name it whatever you want to name it, like temporary, whatever. In order to mount it, though, you do need to use the sudo command. So you will do sudo mount, then the name of the file that you're trying to mount, and then the name of the directory that you're trying to mount it to. Once you've done that, if you change into that directory that you've created and now mounted this file system to, you can look around in it the same way you could as if you were just in any old file system. So you'll see the image, all the contents, and be able to play around. When you're done, you want to unmount it, except the command has no N. So it's just sudo umount, and then the directory that your file has been mounted to. And then once you're done, you can just, again, I don't know why, sorry, I should have cleaned these slides up. You do not need to sudo to destroy the directory, but you can just delete the directory when you're done. Again, mounting and unmounting is sort of like plugging in like a flash drive, a USB stick. And then that moves us into recursive grep. So we've seen grep already tonight. Recursive grep is a really powerful command that can help you find lots of things in a less tedious way. It'll search through the files for you. It's called by using the recursive flag, the R flag, and it will search through all of the directories and subdirectories. And again, you can look at the man page to get more information about that if you want. That brings us to our third and final challenge for the night. Again, you can download the file here at the link. Your useful tools, we've got grep, binwalk. You're going to need to mount the directory, unmount the directory, and give that a download and give it a try. And let us know if you have any problems or you need any help getting this to work for you. All right. I'll start running through the first couple solutions. At least for everybody who's here in person, I think you've all got that one. So once you've downloaded the challenge image file and created a temporary directory, you can mount it, unless you're doing this on your phone, in which case you have other methods. Props to the guy on his phone. So we're going to mount the directory to our folder, and then we can get access to all the things that are in here. So when I get into a file system, I like the tree command. It just helps you get like the lay of the land, and you can kind of see if anything in the file structure kind of sticks out to you. So we have just like a ton of garbage. So there's a lot of just like random stuff that's not going to help us too much. So we might have to figure something else out to find the flags here. So the first thing we're going to want to do is maybe run grep, and we're going to run it recursively so it can run through. And so we get two things. One is lost and found, permission denied. That's unimportant to the challenge. It's not in lost and found. But we do get this other file. So let's go and see what it is. So we could try and cat it out, and well, that's not helpful. So that's no good. We can run a hex dump on it. And if we look through here, there's stuff. And if we scrolled in here and looked hard enough, you would find the flag. It's here. But maybe an easier way to get at that is to run the strings command. So strings will, oh, I need an S, yeah. We'll go through and look for, I think it's like 4 or 5 characters together that are ASCII characters, and then spit those out at you. So here we have our first flag. UC set grep is really powerful. So another really good place to look is to go and look in like the home directory. So we can see if there's anything in the home directory that looks interesting. So we have Magpie. That seems like it might be interesting. And we have a welldone.png. So I'm just going to open this up in the thing. And then we have another flag, second flag. Good job looking in home. And then we also have this journal. So let's take a look and see what is in the journal. So, dear diary, today I had the most amazing day, caught a few worms, washed my feathers, and flew higher than I ever had before. It was amazing. Anyways, the password is magpies love to fly. So let's keep that in mind. That might come in useful somewhere else. So we're going to need to find something. Now, we've done things where things are hidden in other things tonight. So let's look and see maybe if something is hidden inside here. It looks like something is hidden inside that image. So let's go ahead and extract it. We've got this password. Maybe we need to use it here. Let's see what we have. Okay, so we've got another image. And if we open that up, then we have our third flag of the night. Binwalk is awesome too. So we still got this password though. Where are we going to use it? So we can see if there's anywhere else that we can use this. And another good place to usually look is the root directory. So let's go into there and see what we have. Well, that looks really promising. Lockbox.zip. So that might be helpful to us. P, capital P. I usually just do this in the GUI. Okay, so that seems good. We got our fourth and final flag for the night. Passwords keep things secure. Yeah, thank you everybody for coming out tonight or watching online. If you have enjoyed the forensics category, there's lots of challenges out there in other CTFs you can give a try. Here are some that are located on Pico Gym. If you've never heard of Pico CTF, it's a really great place to practice and learn these types of things. So if you go to just Google Pico CTF, they have a practice area on their website called Pico Gym. So you just sign up for an account and there's all sorts of challenges in there in all sorts of CTF categories, varying difficulties. And here are a few that are related to some of the forensic stuff that we've done tonight and some other kind of different things, but just give your brain a workout trying to get those solved. And as I mentioned to the in-person group, we do have a bonus challenge for the week. I'll leave this up on the screen for a second so you can grab the link. You can work on this on your own time. I'm not going to run through a solution tonight, but see if you can find the flag. You can submit it to ORCID and get even more points. And just a hint, I guess, think about how color can be represented. So yeah, thank you everybody for coming out and really appreciate your participation. Hope you, yes. Do you want to come up and?
Hello, everyone. Just a reminder, we have our challenge of the week happening tonight, so it will be released after this workshop is completed. 8 p.m. It will be released at 8 p.m.
Don't forget to sign the attendance if you haven't yet.
Yes, the link is in the, it should be in the chat at the moment. So yeah.
Okay.
Thank you everyone for coming.
Goodbye, YouTube.